First Rebbe says to publicize. By the way, this is also an answer to some people who understand that the Rebbe told us that Mashiach is coming, and Mashiach's coming is imminent, but we argue maybe not to be so loud about it, keep it sort of low profile. Right, similar. So here it says in this page, on page 105, in the Sikh of Shoftim, Tavshanun Aleph, right? So it says the Rebbe's a directive the farsim to publicize the whole generation. So obviously, it's not meant to be a big secret. Baruch Hashem, we just doubled the attendance. Okay. And to publicize in general that there is someone in the generation, and specifically to publicize, that's the part that's underlined, to publicize his main nevuah, where the main nevuah is the out of the geula, that Mashiach's coming is imminent. Ubiyachad in schuzu, together with this merit, yesh l'chol echad ma'anshi dereinu, everyone in our generation has a responsibility, the kabbalah al atzmei shevtayich, to accept the authority of the judges and the advisors, to listen to what they say, because there's many different laws in the Torah and many different pieces of advice in the Torah. And who are the judges? Meaning to say the Rabbanim in general. Neisav al zeh shedeba miyusad al harois v'eitzes m'shavtayim v'yotzayim man malk Rabbanim. All the advice and all the directives, they're all based on what the sages, the Torah sages, have taught us. And specifically, Rabbi Seinu Nesienu B'derech Shlifnei, our Rebbes, meaning the Rebbes of Chabad, of the previous generations, She'oz yesh lazeh gam ha'tekev ha'muvan l'chalecha b'pchinas eitza teva. And this is considered good advice for every person. In other words, even if he holds very highly of himself, that he knows and he understands, and he doesn't need so much advice. And even if he has a good reason, according to Torah, that he should be sort of held very highly of himself, but nevertheless, the Torah itself says, when there's an opinion of an individual, and that's in the presence of many others that hold differently, you go by the majority, not by the minority. So basically, talking about the fact that the Rabbeim are all telling us this, about the fact that we're now in the time of Mashiach, so that'll definitely overrule any other opinion, which might be a personal opinion. And by observing this directive to follow the words of the judge and the Navi of the generation, this will actually be a fulfillment of this prayer. In the davening, we say, Hashiva Shavtenik V'Rashein, Hashem, bring us back those judges that we used to have, and bring us back the prophets that we used to have. And that's going to be once Mashiach comes. But the fact that we're already observing things now and following what the Rebbe says, because he's giving this over as a prophecy, so in a sense, we're already seeing the beginning of the fulfillment of prophecy. Where am I?
Yeah.
If you have the same pages as me, I don't know, 105, you have page 105, you have different pages, right? So let's turn the page. Again, the Rebbe is referring to the message that Mashiach's coming is imminent. So let's start with page 106 on top. Allah has kama v'kama, how much more so, that not only is this something which we can sort of figure out, it looks like it's happening. It's something which has been verbalized, meaning the Rebbe himself has verbalized it many times. And what he said before, that the word nevuah comes from the term nivs v'sayim, the movement of the lips. Kinor lachreina, as it's been customary recently, levate hadvarim b'diva, to express explicitly and openly these words in speech. Which word? Hine ba geula, that the moshiach and geula is imminent. Then the Rebbe says, "Apizeh yeshne gam." Based on this is also the answer al hashayla, to the question sheshaylim, that some people are asking. But take of miyad. Recently, I've been saying. The Rebbe doesn't say I. I'm saying. The Rebbe say we've been speaking about the fact that geula is coming imminently. And people ask, Ketzed Yochel Davazel Laver, how are people gonna react to it? How can it succeed? How can it go through smoothly? Ketzed Yagilu Bnei Habaisa, how will my family members react if I tell them such a thing that the Rebbe said Mashiach is coming imminently? What's the answer? Well, the answer is Ilu Inyani HaGeula HaYechidish, if aspects of geula would be something totally new. There might be some room for such a question. People will say, look, the world is no different than it ever was, and you're talking about geula. Doesn't make sense. But the Rebbe says geula is no longer anything new. It's not something new. All aspects of geula have already begun. It already was drawn down and has been already received in this physical world, the world that's the lowest of all worlds. And therefore, it will be no wonder if the geula will come in a complete way. So, again, what the Rebbe is saying here is something very powerful, that all aspects of things that are going to happen when Mashiach comes have already begun happening. Not saying that they already happened in a complete way, but they've begun happening. So I'm going to explain this a little bit better. Remember the sikha we spoke about last week? The Rebbe explained that the Alter Rebbe says, how is it possible that there were great tzaddikim, like Rav Shimon Bar Yochai and other tzaddikim, that they predicted certain times and said, this is the time of geula, and it didn't happen. So the answer was, they saw through their vision what's going on in Shemayim, in heaven. And they saw in heaven that Mashiach or geula is beginning to descend. And they were able to calculate from what they saw that is going to happen down here, and this year, and this time. So when they saw something which was true. The calculation they made was true. The fact that it didn't happen is because in the process, we did something which made us lose that privilege and that supposed to have Mashiach. So the process was stopped. But what they saw was really true. Then it says, but if you hear about this from a Navi, with the Navi, things have to come down to the bottom line, down to earth. It's not gonna stay in Shemayim. Here the Rebbe is saying that a number of things about Mashiach, or everything about Mashiach, has already touched the ground. We already see a manifestation in this physical world. And I'll just give a few examples. In the year 1991, Topshin and Aleph, the Rebbe kept quoting the pasuk where it says, when Mashiach will come, I'm going to show you wonders like I showed you when you went out of Mitzrayim. And that pasuk in Hebrew is Niflois Arena. Niflois starts with a nun. Arena starts with an aleph. Niflois means wonders. Arena means I will show you. Nun aleph. So the Rebbe said this year, which is Tavshin and Aleph, is an acronym for these two words. That Hashem is saying, this year I will show you wonders. And that was the year that we saw massive exodus from Russia, people going out of Russia, going to Eretz Yisrael. We saw the miracles that are happening in the Persian Gulf. And the Rebbe was saying, these are miracles and wonders that we're seeing in front of our eyes. And they're not just ordinary miracles, but these are the miracles that we were promised that we're going to see when Mashiach comes. So that means we're already seeing the miracles that are supposed to happen in Mashiach's times have already begun. Not to say that this is it, there's much more in store, but we've already seen the beginning of those miracles, which means the miracles of Mashiach have already evolved and have already touched ground. They really made contact with the physical world. Another thing, when the Yidden came out of Russia and started to, hundreds of thousands of Yidden went out of Russia and they came to Israel, to other countries. Again, you could see this as, thank God, the Jews were free, they were able to leave. There was a political change in Russia. But the Rebbe also explained this is not just a political change. This is part of the process of the times of Mashiach, where it says that Yidden from all over the world will flow to Israel and want to live in Israel. So the fact that hundreds of thousands of Jews left the Iron Curtain, and the Iron Curtain was lifted, and they are going to live in Eretz Yisrael, this is a beginning and part of the process of Mashiach collecting Jews from all over the world and bringing them to Eretz Yisrael. The fact that we see things happening now that never happened before in history, for example, the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, right? We know that years ago, no one engaged in such a campaign to go reach out to non-Jews and tell them the Sheva Mitzvahs. In fact, when the Rebbe first came out with it in 1983, I think, there was a sort of a shocking reaction. What? We should go to the non-Jews and tell them to keep the 7 mitzvahs? This is something unheard of. There was never such a thing that Jews went out. And in general, are we already finished with all the Jews that were going to the non-Jews? Let's first work with our own brothers and sisters before we go out there. And second of all, or first of all, why do something which was never done before? What was the Rebbe's answer? The Rebbe's answer was, but you know what? It's a halacha. It's in the halacha that we Yidden have a responsibility to go out to the non-Jewish world and tell them about the Sheva Mitzvahs. So then the question is, so why was it never done before? And the Rebbe's answer was very simple. In earlier generations, especially once the Beis Mikdash was destroyed, there's no way that a Jew living in any of these countries could come out and say, let me tell you what you're supposed to be doing according to the Sheva Mitzvah B'nai Noach. They would be killed. They would be arrested. There would be pogroms. Yidden were very fortunate that they can keep their mitzvahs and do what they need to do without being bothered. For a Yid to come to non-Jew in those days, whether they lived in Spain or in Russia or in Poland or in France or in Germany or in Italy, in all these countries, if a Yid would come and say, let me tell you what you're supposed to do according to Torah, it would be disaster. So when your life is in danger, you don't observe it. So the reason why for 2,000 years, Jews didn't tell non-Jews about the Sheva Mitzvahs, because they would be endangering their life. Now, you're no longer endangering your life. How do we know? Because people are doing it and nothing's happening. It's in the newspapers, it's online, and you don't see an uproar. How dare you tell us what to do? And there are thousands of non-Jews that are actually following, and they're called Nohites, that they follow the Sheva Mitzvah B'nai Noach. So therefore, halachically, if there's no longer a danger, then you have the obligation. The only reason you didn't do it because halachically it was dangerous. But if the danger is like on Shabbos, if there's no danger to keep Shabbos, then you have to keep Shabbos. If there's no danger to go out and tell others about keeping the Sheva Mitzvahs, then you have to do it. But the question is, what changed? How come that for 2,000 years it was inconceivable? And now it's something which you can go out and it can do it publicly, You can do it online, and the whole world knows and sees, and it's not dangerous. What happened? What?
You know where we can get little cards to hand out? I've seen people handing them out and I get full.
I think wherever they give neshek, they usually have the cards also, if I'm not mistaken. So the answer is, this is where we see that we are coming close to the times of Mashiach, and the world is changing. This is one of the changes. When Mashiach comes and says all the non-Jews will recognize Hashem, we know we're not there yet, but the fact that there are thousands of non-Jews that are recognizing Hashem and observing the Sheva Mitzvah Neneach, that itself is a sign that we are so much closer to Mashiach, which means certain things about Mashiach's coming have already begun. The fact that certain, even in our country, the president of the country should be speaking about, people should believe in God. This is something which, became unacceptable. And yet, the president comes out with these things. It does have an effect on people. And again, why is it happening? It's happening because of that reason, because we're so close to Mashiach. So, like it says, when Mashiach will come, we'll see that even the leaders of the world will change their approach. So you have a president in Argentina that, he loves Torah, he loves Judaism. We've never had this before with leaders of other countries. So this is not it. It's just the beginning. But the Rebbe is pointing out that things are already happening, so it's so much easier to see that it's going to happen. What, Shira?
But means like wow then? Because in like Christian, so
no, they're talking about when today, when a non-Jew says to believe in God, they're talking about God. Yes, they might believe in other things also, but let's say in our coins, in our dollars says, in God we trust. You know that? You never see? You don't have any money, so you don't know. But if you would have money, if you have money, you would see it says, in God we trust. If this would be avodah zarah, you wouldn't allow to keep it in your pocket. So in God we trust, they mean God, who is the source of everything, the creator.
So God is general and okay, nice. It's it is. Oh my God! Look at you.
The Rebbe also pointed out to someone, it doesn't say in God we believe. It says in God we trust, which means not only Amunah, also Bitachon. Because trust is even more than just belief. And then there are things that happen along the way. When the Rebbe spoke about when the nations of the world, and again, it came up to the table, as I told you a week ago, that we should all get together and make a pact, not to use weapons, and should be wars. I'm not talking about the crazy people, but the normal civilized world are all together in this, not to have wars and to get rid of weapons and not to manufacture new weapons. This is all a beginning of a prophecy that it says will happen only when Mashiach comes. So that means that we're already seeing things here on earth that itself it talks about prophecy, that we're already witnessing something now which is prophecy. And that means that it's a preparation. The Mashiach will come. Ultimately, everyone will have prophecy. And that'll be ultimately. But we're already seeing a beginning now.
So long ago, they didn't talk about God, like public?
No, they believed in idols. And they believed, they didn't talk about God. They talked about their idols that they believed in. They talked about Christianity, talked about the person that they believed in. Oops, like the Rebbe said, that the Goyim are not as frum today like they used to be anymore. They're not so frum. So they also believe in one God more than they believed in it years ago. Any napkins here? You don't mind? Like some tissue? It wasn't a bad spill. It was a small one.
Oh.
So there, Rabbi. Good. That's enough. Yeah. Simon bracha.
Like Shabbos.
What?
Like Shabbos.
Yeah, put it down. Very good. See, you have good halacha teacher. Okay, so let's conclude this sikha now. So after all this, the Rabbi concludes here on page 109. That's the conclusion of the sikha. Yiratzin. Maybe the will of Hashem, Shadehu Aveda, Bekim Shaftim, with this Aveda of accepting the judges of our generation. Vashiva Shavtayr. Yikurim Zabapel Mamish, we should merit that, we should actually see it. We'll see the Sanhedrin again, we'll see the prophets again. Sharecha means in Eretz Yisrael, and Sharecha means in the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi, the third Beis Hamikdash. Shetavu ba'aret sha'areho. Sha'arecha means literally gates. It says about the third Beis Hamikdash that the gates of the Beis Hamikdash were never destroyed. They were actually, they sunk into the ground. Where exactly they are, we don't know. Maybe they sunk very deep. But it was a miraculous thing that Hashem made them sink into the ground. In fact, this is one of the answers given to the contradiction or the difference of opinion. You know, there are two opinions. Who's going to build the third Beis Hamikdash? Hashem will bring it down from Shamayim, or humans will build it?
Hashem.
You say Hashem, and others say humans will build it. We
What's
both.
human? Wait, like
Physically built up.
it's supposed to be now if it's human, no?
Yeah, but we have to wait for Hashem to tell us to do it. But there's one source that says that Hashem will bring, the Beis Hamikdash is already built in Shamayim, and Hashem will make a descent from Shamayim to earth. Another opinion says, no, we'll actually physically build it like we built the first one. So, so the Rabbi always likes to reconcile, make both. So one of the ways of making both is that it says that the doors, the gates of the Beis Hamikdash sunk into the ground. So two things will happen. Number one, Hashem will bring the Beis Hamikdash down from Shemayim. And number two, the gates from that are sunk in will come up and we'll put the gates on. According to halacha, if there's a building and you put the gates on the building, that's one of the ways of acquiring the building. As if you built it, because you put on the gates, you made it complete. So that's what it says here, that the word sha'arecha, which means your gates, is also alluding to the gates of the Beis Hamikdash, of the third Beis Hamikdash, that they're in the ground. Bnei Yisrael and Yidden, Aidei Avedasam, through their Aveda, Mamidun Zeh Machodesh, we're going to be the ones to raise it. And like I said, that, here it says, that at the same time that we're going to do our part and bring up those gates, there's a Beis Hamikdash itself will come from Shemayim. It's already built, it's already completed in Shemayim, and Hashem will bring it down. It will come down from up there to down here. And then we'll once again have the Holy of Holies, and the rock that's in there, which is the rock, Shemamenu Hushas Kolel and Kolel. The Eibusha created the whole world from that rock. So we'll have both. This sikha was, of course, said in Parsha Shoftim, which is in the summer. So the Rabbi says that we're now standing after the 15th day of Av, and the mazel of that month is a lion. What's the mazel of this month? Anybody know? Very good. Fish. So this month is about Meshinicha Sadam Marvin Besimcha, but the mazel of the month is actually fish. The mazel of that month is a lion. And the word Aryeh, which means lion, has an acronym. Aleph, Rei, Yud, Hey stands for Elul, Rei stands for Rosh Hashanah, the Yud stands for Yom Kippur, and the Hey stands for Hoshana Rabbah. That means in the month of Av, it's a lion, and we're already preparing for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Hoshana Rabbah. Minig Yisrael, it's the custom amongst Yidden that from the 15th of Av, you already begin blessing one another and greeting one another with the words, Ksiv v'chasim ateva, or Gemar chasim ateva, L'shon ateva mesukah b'gashmis u'beruchnis. Or beruchnis u'b'gashmis gam yachad. Because Baruch Hu Hashem, should fulfill the desires of everyone's heart for good. Not all our desires. Sometimes we have desires that are not so good. So we say to Hashem, the good things that I want, those things, please make sure they're fulfilled. B'frat, especially, the biggest desire that we have is the desire and the will and the request ad masek, that Hashem should bring Mashiach. In other words, Hashiva Shavtenik, where Hashem, bring back the judges, Yatzenu, bring back the prophets, and that's going to be the geula mitzvah shlema, the Mashiach Tzedkenu would take with miyad mamash. What? Desire, ratzon, chayfetz, tshuka. I just want to say that today's a special day because it's a chodesh. A special day because it's a chodesh adar. And adar is a special month because it's a month of miracles, a month of simcha, mishnechas adar marbim simcha. And not only the story of Haman, but in our generation, the big miracle that happened with the Persian Gulf War, the miracle and the war ended in the month of Adar on the day of Purim. So naturally, when a time like this comes around, it's more conducive for miracles to happen, for good things to happen. So we're all hoping that this is going to be the beginning of the end, the total end of Golus, and big miracles are going to happen. But it's also special for another reason. Today is the day that we finish learning Rambam. You know, we do the cycle of the Rambam every day, and the Rambam has, every day you do 3 chapters. So today you finish Rambam, or the way the women and the girls learn Sefer Mitzvahs, you finish it once a year. Today is the day that it's being finished. The Rabbi requested that the day that it's finished, or around that time, we should always make a siyum. Siyum means that you celebrate when you finish something in Torah, whether it's a parsha, whether it's a tractate. In this case, it's the Rambam, 14 volumes of Rambam, and it's being finished, so we should celebrate. And when you celebrate, it's more, it's enhanced by the fact that there are more people. The Rebbe requested that there should be 2 kinds of celebration, one local and one more communal, which means, let's say in Crown Heights, every shul, every yeshiva, every organization should make their own little festive celebration of finishing Rambam. In addition to that, there should be one that the whole community should be part of. Obviously, there must be something behind it, and the Rebbe requested it. Not just requested, really spoke about it a lot, and begged that everybody should do that. So Sunday, they're going to have this big gathering. It's going to be in a place called the Armory, and it's a few blocks away from it. You can walk, and you can also, there will be buses. And to make life easier, the buses will be actually on President Street.
Oh, that's what those maps are.
The maps, every corner of President Street, it'll stop at a certain for minutes, and the bus will keep coming back every 5 minutes. So if you look online, you'll see exactly the schedule, but you'll be doing something which is very precious to the Rebbe. So hopefully we'll be able to be there and make it. Usually they make a point that some people speak in Yiddish, but some people also speak in English. Maybe they'll have translators.
Fine.
Okay. A good Shabbos, a good chodesh, and a good siyum. And the Rebbe would say when they made a siyum that now that we're making a siyum. Siyum means an ending, a celebration of ending this part of Torah. We should celebrate the ending of the Golus. Okay.
Amen.
You know what's special about this Shabbos? I'm sure you learned in the Parsha class. In Shul, what's special on the Shabbos?
We got
three sacred toilets.
Right.
And
Not too often does this happen. Right.
yeah, and are we the next day that we can like ask what we want and
When you open the,
when they open the door?
when you open the,
Only if we're in show.
what?
Is that true? Only if we're in show, I'm assuming?
It's stronger in Shul, but it's probably everywhere and anywhere.
רגע, אבל הם מוציאים 3 ספרי תורה. אז
כן.
בשלושתם, מתי שהם פותחים את התורה אפשר לבקש?
מתי שפותחים את הארון, כן. לא התורה, ארון קודש.
ארון קודש?
להוציא את התורה.
אז 3 פעמים יש.
3 פעמים, 3 ספרי תורה.